My highest and best use is not sitting in front of a client or going out there and gathering new business. My highest and best use is making sure that everything is running smoothly, our strategic initiatives are underway, we're making sure that we're hitting all our, whether it's KPIs or what have you. And Matt Culp's highest and best use is being in front of business owners. And so neither of us can do both. And so once you realize that as a business owner and you let go a little bit to somebody that you trust to move certain parts of your business forward, the growth is going to explode.
Hey, business builders. Today we are joined on the podcast by Natalie Hodak. Natalie is the COO at Legacy Planning Partners. Legacy Planning Partners is also the home of a cherished business builder, Matthew Culp, and another business builder, Melissa Gerhardt. And Natalie comes to us to share her story of how she was recognized for her talent within the organization and how the organization allowed for her to elevate and how the organization provided fuel for growth for her. Also, how she used her own drive to pursue growth. Natalie came into the firm as a financial planning person. That's how most people enter the firm, but realized that doing the actual financial planning was not her calling, and that she was more interested in things that we might call the work of an integrator, the work of somebody who takes a vision and then actually executes it and makes it come to life. Natalie shares the story of how she integrates life with her work and how she continues to grow and how she's looking to expand her capabilities in the future. I think that for many of you business builders, finding a person like Natalie is key to the growth of your business. You can only do so much on your own. Generally, business builders lean a little bit more towards the visionary side, not as much towards the integrator or implementer side. And so having somebody like Natalie is amazing. There is a book by Gino Wickman who wrote Traction, which people are familiar with through the Entrepreneur's Operating System, EOS. Well, Gino wrote this other book that is called Rocket Fuel. And truly, you having a person like Natalie could be your rocket fuel. And you might have that person on your team right now. They may not be in some type of a position that puts them in that integrator role, but they have that capability within. And you definitely want to notice that. And you want to do all you can to allow that to flourish and grow to help your organization move ahead. Thanks for watching, and we hope that you subscribe, like the podcast, and remember that many of the guests who come and share their stories also join us later on as the storyteller at our virtual campfire. And if you get on our email list, you'll be notified of those events too, where you can come and learn and be with other business builders and hear how new concepts are implemented by them, which will further stimulate your creativity to grow your business.
Welcome to the Business Builder Way podcast, where we help business builders grow leadership skills and wisdom and stay grounded through hero stories. So let's get after it.
Natalie, welcome to the Business Builder Way. It's really good to spend some time with you and to create an episode here today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Wayne.
For sure. So business builders, Natalie is the COO, right? Is that
Actually,
still the title, or is there a
new
change?
title is president, since we have moved to Hub International last year. So we made a little bit of an adjustment, but the role is very similar.
Okay, awesome. So should have gotten that updated ahead of time, right? But so Natalie's title and role has been elevated since they've become part of a larger group that has even more ability to serve business owners and the people that Legacy works with. And so Natalie works with, some of you may be familiar with Matt Culp. Matt Culp is a member of Business Builders. He's in a mastermind group. He's been a one-on-one client of mine. Matt and his team help business owners who want to plan ahead. He calls his group Boat Business Owner Advisory Team, I think, right? And their whole thing is to help business owners to his signature talk is don't wait, start now, start planning for the future, start getting your affairs in order financially, transition plans, make sure that you have some assets outside of the business or know what the business will be worth, how you want to retire, all those things. And Natalie, you're kind of the backbone of the organization that helps Matt and his team do that. So it's great to have you here today. And the story, some of the story that we're going to tell, and if you were to look at Legacy Listens, you can hear Natalie's story from the perspective of inside the organization as Matt asks her questions. But the part that I love is, Natalie, you're not a financial advisor. You didn't come to Legacy as a CFP certified. Is that right? Certified planning. Right?
Financial.
Yeah, certified financial planner. So you didn't come in that way. Just like sometimes construction companies hire somebody who didn't come as the greatest builder in the world, but they end up really doing great things within the organization. I know that that is what you have done. And when I heard that, I thought it'd be great to share your story here. So can you tell us a little bit who you are, how you came to Legacy?
Sure, of course. Natalie Hodak, as Wayne said, president at Legacy Planning, now a Hub International company. I came into the organization about 16 and a half years ago, and they hired me to be an assistant trader. At that point, we had I'm going to say a number of producer groups that weren't working and functioning as a firm, but we were trying to work on some kind of centralized processing. So they hired me to be an assistant trader. About a month in, they said that wasn't going to work because the company wasn't ready for that type of transition. They didn't have, like Wayne, you said, like a backbone of somebody who would take it and roll with it. So I started doing a lot of financial planning. I am fully licensed. I can be an advisor if I choose to, but I really love what I do now for the organization. And along my kind of career development path, I went from trading to kind of internal financial planning to more of an operational role. And I really fell in love with helping build and grow the organization. So someone like Matt Culp is able to go out there and be with clients and be in front of clients. And I have helped build the infrastructure and organization around his team and also some of the other markets that we serve in order for him to be able to do more of that. And I also help guide our strategic initiatives. We've got a great group of 6 of us who are leaders in the organization. And I always say that my job is to make sure those, client-facing advisors are out there in front of their clients, and I'm doing everything else. I have a great team around me. I'm not doing it all myself. But like you said, Wayne, I'm not, I didn't come in with a background of being a CFP or even knowing what I wanted to do. It evolved, and I was lucky enough to be in an organization that allowed me to evolve and use some of the skill set that I think I brought to them, which is a lot of organization, a lot of execution. I think that's incredibly important. You need to have somebody that can see the vision, take it, and execute it, make it happen. So when we first started down our centralization journey, it wasn't the right time. But about, I'm going to say, 10 years ago, we really started moving down that path, and that allowed us to grow exponentially. And last year, make the transition that we did to join Hub.
Okay, so I was a little bit off in that you did start as a trader, you did start in financial planning, but it's that you recognized a different pathway that you loved and that you wanted to grow in that direction, that being operations, execution, as you said. So I wrote down, I fell in love with helping to build and grow the organization.
Yes.
And I went into operations. Can you remember, like, how did you wake up to this realization that you were in love with helping to build and grow?
So I don't think I was ever the type of person that could come in and, do my job from 9 to 5 and go home and be okay with that. I saw my parents build practices. I saw my parents kind of grow in their careers, and that was always something that I wanted to do. And I really enjoy putting things together so that the result of that is a bigger, better thing. I love working with people. I love putting the right people in the right spots. And I love seeing a vision come to life. So as I went from, again, doing trading to then going and doing financial planning, which is still, a love of mine. It's really fun because it's a similar type of thing where you put together a plan for somebody, you do models, and then you see it to fruition and see them, hey, they did the thing that you told them to do, and now they're better off. So I think it's that type of mentality that drove me to want to better the organization that I've been spending so much time. You go to work for, what is it, like 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, maybe a little less, given vacation time. And I didn't want it to be for nothing. And I loved the idea of building. And the organization was small and open-minded enough to see that and take advantage of it and really go with it. So that's really important to have that kind of mindset, not just the person in my role, but the entire organization.
So you said that the company allowed you to grow exponentially. So we have business owners who have, I don't know, team of, let's say they have 10, 20 people. Out of those 10 or 20 people, there may not be a Natalie yet, right? Or there could be a Natalie within the ranks that would fall in love with helping to build and grow the organization. So how would you say, how did the organization allow you to, what does that mean? The organization allowed you to grow exponentially, and how could a business owner allow for people to grow exponentially?
I think it's twofold. It's one, having the right type of person in your organization that wants to grow a specific position, whatever it might be. And the second is people understanding that there's a highest and best use mentality. So, for example, my highest and best use is not sitting in front of a client or going out there and gathering new business. My highest and best use is making sure that everything is running smoothly, our strategic initiatives are underway, we're making sure that we're hitting all our, whether it's KPIs or what have you. And Matt Culp's highest and best use is being in front of business owners. And so neither of us can do both. And so once you realize that as a business owner and you let go a little bit to somebody that you trust to move certain parts of your business forward, the growth is going to explode. Because that's what I saw happen once the 6 of us realized we had specific roles. There were 5 of us that were going out and meeting with clients and growing the specific markets that we all were, kind of making come to fruition. And I was building the team that helped run the organization, helped, run the support the markets, so to speak. And that's when things started really moving forward.
So you get these 5 people, as you said, who are like Matt Culp, and then you got Matt and Kevin, Rob, Brandon, Jan, Brendan, Jan. You got these other people who are all more focused on meeting directly with business owners and or coaching a team that's going to do the same thing, right? And they're all visionary in some way, and you would be more in the vernacular of the book Rocket Fuel. They're visionary, and you're like integrator, right?
Yes.
or implementer in some other language. How did you do that? How did you start to have them trust you and have systems in place and maybe try to like keep them on task? How did some of that happen and come about?
So I think it's not doing everything all at once. It's we started slow. We implemented a couple pieces going central. When that was working, we brought in more. So whether it was our HR or our financials or the support that we provide to clients, those types of things we did incrementally, and it was kind of like a trust building exercise every time we implemented a process. And as you saw things start to work and us having the right, like us hiring the right support staff, us making sure that the right people were in the right seats, making sure that it was very it was so it didn't just happen overnight. It was a years long process to get to where we are as an organization now. And again, hopefully I'm answering your question, but you need someone who's patient to do that on both ends, both the producer, the business owner, and whoever your integrator is. It's somebody who's willing to go methodically and make it happen. Uh, are there ways to do it all at once? Sure. But we took a longer road, and it's really built a level of trust that I think has allowed us to be or reach this level of success in our organization.
What role did visioning play along the way? Like what have you and the the team of the others that you're talking about? How did you create longer term visions for what might be possible? Because we never know for sure, right? Like you're creating, this is what centralized operations could look like. Did you do a lot of that?
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
write those things down? How did that work?
Absolutely. We did a lot of planning, so we would meet very regularly, whether it was board meetings or strategy sessions. I implemented, and I don't even know how long ago I started this, but we have a call every Monday morning where I have their attention for 45 minutes, and
You have their attention. You're
yep.
leading it. Yep.
Yes, I am running the meeting. Now, we talk outside of whatever agenda I send, but it's an opportunity for us to start the week and connect and understand what's going on, understand where we are in the planner process, and just check in with each other. And it helps solidify some of that trust. But again, we have standing meetings, we have standing calls. We spent time building our 5-year plan or 10-year plan. A little plug for Wayne, we came to Wayne's farm one summer and did a strategic planning session for not just our markets, but the firm as a whole. And that was incredibly helpful, again, to get us to our, transaction that we did last year. So it's intentionally planning, putting that together, and then making someone accountable to executing on those deliverables. I know Matt does a 120-day plan. There's different ways to do it, and it doesn't have to, follow that specific framework, as long as you're following a methodical approach to moving your trajectory towards your goal along, then you're doing the right thing.
Got it. So along the way, you must have learned a lot when you realize like, oh, I really like helping build and grow the organization. I love execution, making sure that, because so often leadership teams talk about, well, we'll do this and we'll do this and here's a great idea, and then they get back together again and here's another great idea and more stuff. So execution is the key, not just having the ideas. So you learned that you were interested in this, you wanted to do this, but how did you go outside of the organization to learn, to read books? what were you connecting to that helped you then bring back best practices and do this work?
Sure. So I'm a almost 6-year member at Vistage. It is a study group of folks that are in my specific role. So like key individuals in organizations in all different kinds of companies, not just financial advisory firms. There's manufacturing companies. There's, lawn care, like all kinds of companies. We meet once a month and we learn from each other. And it's been a really great eye-opening experience to hear that all these types of businesses have very similar problems, and learning from them. On top of that, I did a strategic leadership course. So I'm a lifelong learner. I love to understand things better, whether it's self-study or courses. I did a year strategic leadership course through Vistage, but it was with Stanford University. And we learned how organizations are formed, the different types of organizations, the types of leaders, the different types of leadership. And I also got to connect with other organizations across the entire country, not just my group in the Philadelphia area that I'm with. And it was, again, it was very eye-opening. It helped solidify some of the things that I believe about businesses, great from my own personal experience and observing and watching and listening. So continuing to learn how other organizations function is, I think, incredibly important. And you can borrow and implement and do things and apply them to yours. I'm not a huge, this is a secret between you and me. I don't like nonfiction self-help books whatsoever. I'm not huge on those because I feel like they say the same thing. However, their message is right. And for someone who doesn't have a specific mentality, they're fantastic. So continuing to listen or read or, listen to podcasts to get yourself better. But I prefer learning from others, whether it's in a group or one-on-one or in a class.
Yeah. Well, your secret's out now, right?
Sorry,
We're gonna post it. What are you gonna do? So what I heard there is, I mean, I heard a lot there, but one of the pieces, that last piece, like all the self-help books that could ever be written in some sense have already been written, but they're like being reworked around. And it goes back to this idea of execution. And it's not so much needing the new ideas, it's executing and then having the other people who are in a similar spot as you to talk to help understand how they implemented those ideas. No sense getting more ideas. Let's just execute what we already know to be true. Is that close?
Kind of. I think it's learning. I agree with what you said about the self-help books, but it's more of getting perspective from others because that's what's different. It's the perspective that someone who's running a manufacturing plant has on a specific topic that's going to be completely different from mine. We have different histories, we have different experiences, and all of those experiences bring a different kind of perspective. And it's also learning not just from folks that are in, an implementer position, but also from those that are business owners or maybe they're under the implementer and they're part of a team and they're trying to execute. I know I'll shout out to Corey, but Corey Neath works with Matt on his team, on his business owner advisory team, and I learn a ton from her. She's got some incredible ideas, incredible ways to put processes together that I, may not think of, and together it's gold.
Well, that certainly displays a certain aspect of your makeup too, is the humility to say there's somebody on the team that is out within the teams that I learned, that you, Natalie, can learn from. And so you go to outside the Vistage and your group, and then you're going inside to the people there, and you said constantly learning. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Kudos. I thought it was you talked about your peer group in Vistage as a study group. You said we are a study group. And I don't know if that's what they actually call it or if that has something with how you approach it. Like that's I hear you go there once a month and you're like, okay, I'm here to learn, I'm here to study, I'm going to watch and listen to these other people,
Mhm.
make notes, see what applies so I can take it back. Is that right?
Yes, my personality. I'm an observer. I like to kind of absorb information that way and then take it and apply it. So I love hearing other perspectives, and that is how I approach it. I approach it as a study group where I get to learn from everyone every single time I go to a meeting.
Yeah. So how would a business owner know if they have somebody on staff who has the potential to do what you've done, like lifelong learner, execution mindset? You did mention that you grew up, and I remember from your episode with Matt, you talked about your family and people who have influenced you. How would a business owner know if they have a potential future integrator, Natalie type person on the team?
I think it's whether you're just interviewing somebody or you're taking somebody from your team and looking to grow their position. It's giving them opportunity to prove themselves is the wrong term, but giving them the opportunity to excel, to take a process or a project and show how they would do it and how they would make it excellent or take it to excellence. And there's a trust component, but you can start small, and that's what worked for us, and I think that allowed, you know, 5 producers to trust me and other folks on the team to execute on things that they could do, of course, but they didn't need to be doing because one, we could do it better, and two, the opportunity cost of them doing those things wasn't wasn't worth it. They needed to be out in front of clients. So I guess the answer to your question is give them a chance. You want to identify people that don't just come in, do their job, and go home. That's generally not the mentality that you're looking for. It's the people that raise their hand and say, "Hey, I can do this too. Hey, I can do that." When when we decided the month after I was hired that we're no longer doing centralized planning, I still would have, liked a job. So I said, "Hey, guess what else I can do? Teach me this or let me learn this. I'll do that. And then I'll do this too, and that, and that." And that's how I was able to amass all the knowledge and information of the organization itself and be able to grow.
What do you think about this? There are people in an organization that will say, "Why do we do it this way?" But there's like two different ways that somebody could ask that question. What There's probably more than two different ways, but the two ways that strike me is sometimes people are like complaining. Why do we do this? Why do we do it this way? On the other hand, I'm going to guess that you sometimes out of curiosity generally would ask, "Oh, why do we do it this way?" But you're thinking of other possibilities, and it's not complaining, it's not being a victim, it's more of a proactive growth thing. What do you think about that?
I completely agree. You definitely want to look for that. It's those that have a solution mindset. It's those that say, "Hey, this we're doing it fine this way, but I've thought of a different way to do it, and here's how it could be better. Is that something that we could try?" And it's that solution mindset. So whenever a problem comes up, my immediate reaction is, let's see how we can get to a solution. And I may not have the answer, but the team together will come up with one. It's allowing everybody or those that want to have an input. We have this thing at Legacy whenever we're interviewing anybody and hiring someone. We always ask, or we always share that this is a small organization. You could be a huge organization, but in this small organization, we allow everybody's opinion is as long as it's done the right way matters. You could be an intern, and if you come up with a great way to do something, we're going to listen. So it's those that approach it from a solution mindset, and then also having leadership being open-minded enough to listen. So it's creating this kind of really cool environment where you're not afraid to raise your hand and say, "Hey, why don't we try it this way?" Or, I have an idea. It's that kind of approach to it.
So we're going to get close to wrapping up here, and I can't help but ask. You said I have definite ideas about business, so I want to ask because we have business owners are listening. So what do you believe about business? That's what you said. I have certain ways, certain things I believe about business. What are some of those things, Natalie?
I just I think that nothing is overly complicated. And it obviously depends on what business you're in, but running an organization isn't complicated. You need to have the right people. You need to have trust. You need to have the environment that I just talked about where people are not afraid to raise their hand and provide opportunities to better the overall business itself. And obviously, you need to have the right leadership that fosters that environment. And you can apply that to any kind of business. So it's not, in my mind anyway, it's not complicated. You have to have those components, and then you take them and apply, and you have to give it time to work its way out. It took us a while to get here. But I think it's because we had those components and we were able to work through any adversities that came our way. So I guess my belief about business is that or running a business is it's not complicated as long as you have the right ingredients to do that. I probably should make that analogy because I'm a terrible cook.
Oh no, you're doing great. So I love that. It isn't overly complicated. So I wrote it down, and what my brain said was, if it feels complicated, then we probably ought to slow down and consider and dig into why does it feel overly complicated.
Yeah, exactly. Is there a component of that? Is it the environment? Is it the people? Is it is it leadership? What are those? One of those components might be off, and you can address that and solve a lot of problems with that and time.
Yeah, and on the time, give it time. I wrote down trust. It isn't overly complicated. Give it time. How do you give something time, but not be wasting time? Like, how do you know that an initiative it's being worked on? It's not that there's nothing being done. It's going to take time. How do you measure progress when you're trying to give it time?
So there always should be benchmarks. As I said, you have a goal at the end. You know that in 3 months you need to have a few things done, and you plan for those things. And everybody on that team has a task that they need to complete. And there's check-ins, and as long as you're tracking and monitoring and you have all those ingredients that I just talked about in place, the time progression, it's easy to move that benchmark forward. I don't know if I'm making sense there, but
You are.
you need to track, you need to check in, and it's the accountability that everybody has towards each other and whatever project we're working on, whether it's a small project of a process or the growth of the entire organization.
So Natalie, just as we wrap up, two things. One is I've been saying around our business builder groups that we are working to build a great business, which we've talked a lot about that. Your role in building a great business that has even now become part of a larger group. So that part we worked on. The second thing is live a good life, serve, be strong, and find joy, be happy, right? So it's the idea of living a created life, not a life of default, but we're looking at life, and you're like a baller, you're a hard worker, you got a lot going on. I think that you do like fitness classes and things. Are you wearing an Aura ring?
It's
Yeah.
a ultra human ring, but
Oh,
we're putting
okay, even better,
in a
probably,
shot.
right? So those things are part of health. So any like how do you both have this leading role in business, be president, and how are you balancing that, so to speak, and creating a life so it's not just all work, but you've got a life that you love too.
I have, and this has been also a skill set that I've developed along the way. One, I love what I do at work. So
Hmm.
that's a big component of it. So going to work is not unpleasant for me. I
Hmm.
love it. I love everything that we've built and how we've gotten there. But I've also really started to set boundaries and allowed myself to make sure I'm taking care of me. I wake up at an ungodly hour in the morning in order to get the things that I want done so that after, I do those, I prioritize myself, my health. I have work, which again, I enjoy, I love. It's a part of who I am. And then, after work, I have my kids, and I'm able to give them the time and attention that they deserve. So it's putting boundaries together, and even like when you're going through whether it's a big transition at work. So like last year was a little bit extra busy for us. It's understanding that that is a point in time and that will ease. And so it's putting in the extra work during that time where maybe some things might go a little awry. Like my children sat in on a lot of calls that I had to take at 7 a.m. in car line, 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. But I talked to them about what that meant and what was going on. And so it's just this opportunity to kind of mold certain thing or bring things into my entire world. So it's boundaries, it's taking time for yourself, which I'm pretty adamant about, and knowing that any kind of transition or hardship or whatever you're going through is there's an end point. It's going to end. It's just a point in time, and that mindset is really important.
Yeah, and I guess the trick is not to go pick up a whole bunch of more projects after you finish one. Make sure you get a little bit of a pause, right?
Yeah, exactly. Take some
What
time
is the
for
what
yourself.
is the ring called that you're wearing?
This is an ultra human ring.
Okay.
It's this piece.
Yep.
It's basically like the Aura ring. Is that
Hmm.
is that what the other one is called?
Hmm.
I just got it, so I'm testing it out
Yeah.
and seeing if I like it. I got very overstimulated last year wearing my Apple Watch all the time. The
Hmm.
notifications were starting to get to me, so I decided to adjust. But I still love KPIs,
Yep.
numbers. I
Yeah.
like to know.
Yeah.
So,
So how much do you sleep at night?
um, it depends. It depends. I usually try to go to bed at like 9:30, 9, something like that, and get up at the 4:15, 4:30.
Okay, you said an ungodly hour, so I wasn't sure what that meant.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're planning for like 7 hours, is what you're saying?
That's
Ish.
the goal. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the goal. Though that's
Great.
that's really why I got this. I wanted to kind of hone in on that aspect
Yeah.
of wellness because I don't think I'm as good at it as I should be. So I need to put the phone down,
Yeah.
really
I'm not as
focus on
good
it.
at it as I should be. Always. Yeah,
I need to
sure.
get better at
You get
sleeping.
better. Well, good. And sure, why not? We can do that. Natalie, it's been a joy talking through your role as integrator, implementer, and president in the journey, and thinking about how others could have somebody on the team that would contribute in such a way. So thank you for that. Legacy does serve business owners, and Legacy serves a variety of business owners, right, at different ends of the spectrum, whether they're I think there's like a fourth or fifth generation family business that Rob was telling me about. you just describing in a general way, like, hey, we've got this 4th or 5th generation business, and there's like all these different family members that are part of it. So you could serve at that end, and then also maybe a business owner who's the founder and they've been running it and they're 60, and the business is a $5 or $10 million business. You serve them. So like, yeah, who do you serve? How do people get in touch with you? What would be helpful?
Sure. So, like you said, we serve business owners, typically those that want to work on transitioning their business in some way, shape, or form. We love to start working with them about 5 to 10 years before they're ready to do that and help walk them through that path. We also work with ultra high net worth individuals. They are typically business owners. They don't have to be. And generally, those are people that have potential estate tax problems that we can work through if given enough time and opportunity, et cetera. And that's called our family office services. So it's people up to, about 200 million, something along those lines of net worth that don't qualify for just a single family office, but really do need someone to help them and their families with all the complexities that go into what they've amassed. And from all of that, we have also taken retirement plans, so 401k plans, put them under our Director of Retirement Planning, Brendan Spears. And we have a really great group dedicated to serving those plans. Usually it's the business owners that have, the companies that have the 401k plans. And then overarching, we work with, pre-retirees, retirees, at different levels, and doing financial planning. So if you think about it, it's business owner advisory, it's family office services, ultra high net worth, it's retirement plans and financial planning for all. We've got advisors at different levels that can support that, wherever you are in your financial life. You can find us online, legacy-online.com. And if you have any questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer. Again, I love study groups. You can reach me at nhodak@legacy-online.com. I love answering questions.
Okay, great. And probably can find you on LinkedIn as well. Great.
Absolutely.
Natalie, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you.
Thanks so much, Wayne.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into the Business Builder Way podcast. If this episode spoke to you, click that subscribe button and share it with a friend. That's how this message gets out into the world. If it is helpful for us to have a short conversation, I'd love to do that. Send me an email at wayne@businessbuildercamp.com.